Now this week we'll take a look at some blocking and striking on your tire station. Now the first one is for an angle 1 attack. It's typically called an inside deflection. Now you can block and then check, or you can block and check at the same time. Now here we're blocking and checking at the same time. Here is a block, then a check. The main difference is the speed. If you block and check at the same time, it's obviously going to be faster. Now here, when we're blocking, we bring the stick under the arm and strike to the body. Now you can strike to the head also, but we'll show that later. Now if you do it this way, it would pretty much always be a block and then a check. If I block check at the same time, as you see here, my left hand, my checking hand, gets in the way. If you're going to block in this fashion, it's much smoother to block and then check. Now these two moves should just be a fraction of a second apart. Now here we're simply practicing alternating from the high or over the shoulder to the low line or under the arm, just so you can get the feel of it and get the move down smoothly. Now a roof block is another common block, and it is called a roof block because if you look at the slope of the stick, it resembles the slope or pitch of the roof of a house. Now this can be used off of an angle 8, which is a vertical down, an angle 1, or even an angle 3. Now many people think that it's the same as an X block. It is not an X block. If you look at the structure, his attacking weapon is not between my two arms. I'm pushing out with my left hand. My right hand or right stick is attacking his limb. My left hand is pushing it away or guiding it off. Your stick can be in front or behind your left hand. It doesn't really matter. Now usually what determines which block you're going to use is where the point of your stick is. If the point of your stick is up, you'll use an inside deflection. If the point of your stick is down, you'll use a roof block. Now notice that in application, you're actually striking the arm. You're not hitting the stick. Here the roof block is used against the angle 1 and the angle 3. Notice how I'm also using my triangular stepping to step out away from his attack. Too many people try to rely strictly on the block. You need to move out of the way of the oncoming attack. Now, since the point of my stick is down, the quickest way for me to block is to execute a roof block. From an angle 2 attack, we're going to counter with an outside deflection. Now here again, I can block and check at the same time, or block and then check, then counter. Here it's a little easier to see with our partner. Again, make sure that when you block, you're striking the arm, not the stick. The checking hand helps to reinforce your block. Now you can also do a roof on this side, called an inverted roof block, or sometimes called a wing block. Note that on this one, the left or checking hand is the one that's actually doing the blocking. The stick in that position just doesn't have enough force behind it to stop his attack. Now here you can see a little more clearly. Just using the stick, you would never have enough power to stop the force of his blow. Now when you pass the stick or pass his arm overhead, you're normally trying to move his weapon or move his arm out of your way so that you can throw a counterattack of your own. Now here we use the puño or butt end of the stick to hook it and pass it overhead. If I'm dealing with an angle 2 or angle 4, I'm going to use my left hand. If you try to use the right, you're probably going to pull this stick or weapon right into your face. Notice how I block, check, and then pass it overhead. You have to do damage first to your opponent before you are able to manipulate him. Here we're showing the passing and scooping on an opponent. Again, when you block, you are always hitting the hand or the arm. Scooping is moving your opponent's arm and weapon to the low line. Now there's no hard fast rule for when to use which one, a pass or a scoop, but typically if he throws a middle attack like a 3 or 4, you're going to scoop it rather than trying to pass it overhead. Again, you're usually going to use the hand that's in front to scoop or move his weapon's hand. When you're using your stick or puño, you hook it as you guide it past you. Footwork comes into play here also. Now, probably the two most common type of footwork that you'll be working on right now is your circular footwork and your triangular footwork. When you use the triangular step, you're going to replace the foot that you're standing on. Notice how I skip back, replacing the foot, and then angle forward.